to each of us, and we pray that we'd be good stewards of them. Your word states very clearly that we reap what we sow, and as we move forward together as a city, I pray that you'd help us to invest in more than just profits. Help us to invest in our youth, in the environment you've given us, into the poor and the marginalized, and help us to invest in projects and initiatives that will outlive each of us in this room. Help us to plant seeds that will grow to make our community a leader in this region and in this nation, and help us all to do the next right thing as we seek to follow your will. We ask that you bless our time together this morning. We pray this in your name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. President Gregory.
Here.
Vice President Richardson.
Here.
Councilmember Manzi. Here. Councilmember Small.
Here.
Councilmember Williams.
Here.
Councilmember Daves.
Here.
Councilmember Rich.
Here.
Statement of rules.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good to see you. We have a bit of a slimmer crowd this morning, but that's all good. Yesterday was a terrific day for the city of Mobile. The council, along with many others, the whole city really, celebrated the Airbus event yesterday, officially turning over the very first airliner made right here in the United States, in Mobile, Alabama. Turned over the keys to JetBlue yesterday. The plane's been named Blues Mobile, and it's written right on the cockpit there. It's really very neat to see that. And it will soon be carrying passengers all around the country. And on the heels of the update from Al Hutchison last week, you all probably remember, Mr. Williams and the mayor and some members of Visit Mobile will also be in Washington, D.C. this week. They're working to recruit some major national conferences to our city. National conferences and industry in general is very important to the city of Mobile. The event that they are going to is called Springtime in the Park, and it's one of the very biggest and most important convention planner trade shows every year. So we're happy that they will be there. They're also making some individual sales calls while they're in DC, and they're hosting a private luncheon on Friday for some of our very top meeting planner prospects. And Senators Sessions and Congressman Byrne will also attend the luncheon, and they will be there to help try to recruit some of these conventions for Mobile in the future. And of course, as you also recall, that Mr. Hutchison mentioned how successful their new brand and logo are here recently. It's the Mobile Starburst that you see on a number of banners and in the city and airport, on windows of businesses throughout the city, and print publications and brochures for Visit Mobile. The Mobile Airport Authority, Mobile Chamber of Commerce, and the City Council has also adopted the Starburst as its official logo for all communications. So when you see emails coming out from us, you'll know why we have the Starburst. Tomorrow is a very important day for a lot of our administrative assistants, and I definitely want to acknowledge the work that all of these administrative assistants do who keep the city council office running like clockwork. These folks, yes, let's give them a hand. Ladies, these folks and administrative assistants everywhere are truly the backbone of so many offices, so thank you so much for what you do. Thursday, many of our restaurants will participate in Dining Out for Life, which raises money for AIDS Alabama South, simply just by eating out at one of several restaurants across the city. You can support the organization. Then Friday afternoon, the Spring Hill community is holding a sidewalk-a-thon to raise money for sidewalks. It's an annual event where children actually do the work to raise money to help pay for sidewalks, and Councilman Joel Daves and I will be the grand marshals of this sidewalk-a-thon. We hope we can keep up with all the kids. And today we are set to vote on a number of things that will have a great impact on our city. One in particular is the contract for the next phase of work on Ann Street. It's an enormous project, one we've been talking about for years, and crosses two districts. Councilman Small, I am very sure, will have something to say about that. It's in his district, and then later on we look forward to seeing construction cross over into District 2 where Mr. Manzi resides, and eventually we'll get this work done. It's a huge, huge project, and we are happy to vote on that today to get this phase moving along. Last and not least, it's spring. I think everybody knows it's spring. almost summer, really. We don't have much of a spring in the city of Mobile. So we're already seeing high grass and weeds throughout the city. You can't help that with all the rain we've had and then, of course, the bright sunny weather. So one of the things that we'll do today is approve a number of contracts for private contractors to begin mowing our rights-of-ways in areas to help fill in the gaps where our city crews just can't get to. We have way more needs for mowing than we have people to do it, so we've started hiring private contractors to fill in and do the work, and we're very grateful for the kind of quality work that we see from these private companies. So very soon, as of hopefully today, you'll see a lot of people out mowing all of our rights-of-ways, and then, of course, our city crews will continue doing their work in mostly the park areas and some other right-of-way and median areas in the city. So with that, I will turn it over to Ms. Lambert. Thank you.
Approval of minutes of April the 19th.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Communications from the mayor's office.
Administration has no comments.
Okay. The mayor is out of town, and I mentioned that he will be part of the Visit Mobile work up in D.C., so we look forward to hearing back from him when he returns to the city.
Adoption of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Appeals, we have requests for a waiver of the noise ordinance on May 7th on Vermillion Drive, June 11th on Riverside Drive, and June 25th on Riverside Drive.
So moved.
Any discussion on these appeals? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Public hearings, today is a public hearing to rezone property at 3901 Cottage Hill Road, south side of Cottage Hill Road, 25 feet west of Hawthorne Drive, from R1 to B1.
This is a public hearing. If there's anyone in the audience who would like to speak to this, please come down to the podium.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Bernadette Jenkins with New Life Housing. This is Calandra Peterson. She's the office manager of New Life Housing. We want to restore the property at 3901. It's been vacant since, I think, 2007, and the only thing that we really, any bumps that we ran into was the neighbor, Miss Swine, just was a little bit apprehensive about business moving into that area, and we reassured her that we were just an office. We actually have a notarized form that says that we're only going to be operating as an office in that building, which we understand her concerns. And at this point, we're on a first name basis, and we're working together to get the building in order. And we'll turn in the form, and we would like to move in when we're able to be able to do that.
Thank you very much.
As far as our business is concerned, I'm so sorry, we help people to stop paying rent and to own their own home. We're providing a service for that actual community. We actually bought a property about 4 houses down, and we restored that, and we helped a potential buyer and now a buyer move into that house, and that's what we're doing for Mobile. We're helping people to become homeowners. That's what our service does.
Okay. Thank you very
Thank you.
much. Appreciate it.
Madam President, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Thank you all so much for what you're doing for the
Thank you.
community, especially I know Ms. Peterson, but how do y'all advertise? How do people know about
Find
your
out about us.
services?
We were getting referrals, and now we're seeing that we really have a lot of people who are needing this service. So we've been doing online marketing. We're working with the chamber. We're working with an SBA agent to be able to help us to be able to have more funds to be able to market broader. We want to be able to get on, we did radio for a while. We want to be able to get on TV and tell people. The first thing that we run into when people find out what we do is, where have you been? I've been looking for you guys forever, and I want to be able to be a part of that, because so many people want to own homes, but they just don't know the steps, and quite often don't realize how close they are to qualifying. And so we're working on that to be able to get more people to know about what we do and where we're at.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Again, this is a public hearing, so if there's anyone else in the audience who would like to speak to this, please come down to the podium. Okay, with that, the public hearing is closed.
Public hearing to consider the application of Vince A. McCarroll and Antoinette A. McCarroll doing business as Affordable Home Care for a certificate of public convenience and necessity for a shuttle service.
This is a public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to speak to this application, please come to the podium.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I am Antoinette McCarroll, and I have a sitter service. My office is based in my home. No one comes to my home. I have about 30 employees. I want to get a transportation contract with Medicaid. When they send me the application back, I have to go through this process first. And then once it's approved, then I'll send it to them. And my areas are the elderly and disabled. Because of my sitter service, that's what I do now.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Is there anyone else in the audience who would like to speak to this application? Okay, with that then, the public hearing is closed.
Presentation of petitions and other communications to the council. Danny Cordy.
While Danny's coming up, I just want to, the applicants we just heard from, y'all may want to go. We won't be voting on that rezoning. You're welcome to go. It won't disturb us. So thank you, and I assure you have our support, my support, and I'll plead that with the council as well. Thank you.
Good morning, I guess Vice Chairman Richardson and the members of the City Council and the Mayor's Office. Again, for the record, I'm Danny Cordy, Executive Director for the Mobile Sports Authority at 301 Government Street. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to bring you up to date, kind of a mid-year update on what's going on with the Mobile Sports Authority. As you know, the Sports Authority is the sports tourism arm. Of course, Madam President Gregory already mentioned tourism, of course, an important part of our economy here. Sports tourism is approximately, depending on how you define it, 20 to 25% of the total tourism industry. And of course, the Sports Authority is the sports tourism arm of the city and the county to bring those visiting sporting events to town. So far, with a little over our fiscal year, halfway over, because our fiscal year coincides with the city and the county, and based on your investment, which again was very important for us going forward, so far this year, after a little over 6 months, we've brought in 19 sporting events, which brought in an estimated $13 million of economic impact to our area. And that's a little bit ahead of our record year from last year when we brought 32 events in, attracted, hosted, supported 32 events, which brought in close to $21 million economic impact. So, and we could not have done this without your support as a city and of course the county too. Again, just because obviously it takes the investment to get where we want to get to. Some of the things coming up, I mentioned the 19 we've already had in. We estimate we have about another 14 events coming in between now and the end of the fiscal year. The events that we have brought in approximately 32,000 attendees, with about 18,000 of those being from out of town, those being the visitors. And so that's what we want to be doing. The 14 events coming up, just to mention a few of them, involve volleyball, involve gymnastics. If you've never heard of what's called a Spartan race, it's a cross-country obstacle course race that we had here for the first time last year. Had 5,000 attendees with over 4,100 competitors. We hope to be bringing that back in November. We're still negotiating that. But another event that we're bringing in September, which we worked on for close to 2 years, is the Fifth Quarter Classic. We're bringing Florida A&M and Tuskegee to town to play on September 17th. It's to me going to be a very exciting event for our community. Of course, we had the Gulf Coast Classic for 35 years, and I believe the last time that was played was, I believe, 2010. And when I got back in the saddle, so to speak, these are one of the goals that I wanted to bring a classic-type football game back to our community. And Florida A&M and Tuskegee, if you know any of the history, they used to be big rivals when they were in the same division. They have not played in 20 years, so they will be playing for the first time in 20 years here in Mobile on September 17th. So we're real excited about that. We're putting together a lot of events for the weekend, working with all our partners, the CVB. We have a local organizing committee, our board, which of course Councilman Williams is a part of, and we hope to really showcase Mobile on that big weekend. And again, I want to thank you so much for the support. We could not have done it without your support. And as always, I'm always available for questions or suggestions too, because some of the best ideas we get are suggestions from our community. So again, thank you very much.
Mr. Danny.
Yes, sir.
I have a question. Approximately how many visitors are we expecting for the Field Quarter Classic?
Councilman Small, that we hope 15,000, but being a first-time event, you just don't know until you go through it. I mean, you can look at past Gulf Coast Classics that we've had, and they've been anywhere from 8,000 to 30,000. And to me, the excitement of it is, as I mentioned, these two teams have not played each other in 20 years, and they're fairly close to each other, Tallahassee and Tuskegee, so there's a natural rivalry there anyway. I kind of lowballed it when I presented my figures to the city and the county, and I was hoping we'd get 8,000 to 10,000 visitors in. But whatever it's going to be, there's going to be a lot of hotels and a lot of restaurants filled up, and we have not. Tickets have not gone on sale yet. We're waiting on Florida A&M. It's because basically it's their home game, so they can kind of control the everything. So hopefully in the next few weeks we'll have tickets go on sale, and once those go on sale, we'll probably get a better idea of what we're talking about.
Yeah, I know that we have two HBCUs coming together, and even just as last night, I was talking to a fraternity brother of Atlanta, Georgia. His homecoming, Bethune-Cookman College, their homecoming that same weekend, but he's coming to Mobile, Alabama.
Great.
You know, I have friends coming from Florida, I have friends coming from Louisiana coming to the Field Quarter Classic. So this is something that the city should get behind, and I'm anticipating that 15,000 plus to be here that particular weekend.
That would be great, and that would be the home run that we all want for this event. And again, right now it's a one-year event, and depending on how this first year goes, as we would extend, we're already talking to FAMU about 2017 in terms of dates and possible opponents, whether it be Tuskegee again or somebody else. That's, again, it's sort of their call. But hopefully this is just the start of something big going forward.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Hold on.
Yes.
Danny, is the Florida A&M football team bringing along with them the world-famous Florida A&M Rattler Band?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, sir.
I'm waiting on the Rattlers band too.
There you go. All right, well, thank you very much. And again, my door's open. If you have any questions about that event or any other events, just let me know. Thank you so much.
Okay. Who is next?
I said it's just a band.
No. Madam President, are
Just
you
a
next? Yeah, come on.
So she can come back and join us.
We always hear from the president.
I have today a certificate of recognition. If you all would like to come join me, with a group of folks here who are going to talk about National Walk at Lunch Day. And I understand that our own municipal judges will lead the city's effort this year.
All right now. Wonderful. A lot of fun to be out there.
Hopefully they'll take off their robes and, have tennis shoes. That'd be a little difficult. This is a certificate of recognition for National Walk at Lunch Day. National Walk at Lunch Day is hereby officially thanked and recognized for significantly contributing to the health and wellness of the citizens of the city of Mobile, and it is signed by our mayor, William S. Stimson. So thank you very much. This is your certificate.
Okay.
And we appreciate everything you all are doing. And I'm going to ask if you all will just introduce yourselves and give us a little bit more information about what National Walk at Lunch Day is all about.
Okay. You want me to introduce first, or me too? Okay. Well, my name is Clay Walden. I'm the district manager for Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Alabama here in Mobile. And I would like to give you a little bit of history. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Alabama began National Walk at Lunch Day about 10 years ago. And it's been growing and growing ever since. And so tomorrow is the actual day. And there will be people walking all over Alabama and all of our cities and all of our areas. We have partnered with different local communities in order to make this happen. And I would like to recognize some of our partners that are helping facilitate this here in Mobile, especially Mary Mullins, who's here with me with Live Better Mobile. She's been an integral partner of ours in helping facilitate this and organize it and organize all of our volunteers all across the city. And if it's okay, I would love to mention just a few of those evidence-based community service partners now. And Mary and I were just talking, there's probably over 20 walk locations throughout the city tomorrow. And I want to mention all of these so that it will encourage all of you to get out and participate with us, get moving and walk for a better quality of life. But I'd love to mention American Cancer Society, City of Mobile, City of Mobile Animal Shelter, City of Pritchard, Downtown Mobile Alliance, Gulf States Health Policy Center or Bayou Clinic, Mobile County Animal Shelter, Mobile County Health Department, Mobile County Public School System, Mobile Museum of Art, Mobile United, Spring Hill Medical Center, University of South Alabama Student Rec Center, USA Children's and Women's Hospital, USA Mitchell Cancer Institute, and the YMCA of South Alabama, among many others. So, and I think we're going to have a few animals out tomorrow, right, too, to maybe walk some people. So, yeah, so if y'all would, and I would like, before I start, I just thank you very much for this.
I have some questions.
Everybody that's here.
Sir, you have a question?
Yes. So is the objective is for us to get out of the cars and exercise? Is that what you're trying to foster more?
Absolutely.
Exercise?
Absolutely.
Okay, so do you have in mind how far you want us to walk? Because there's a restaurant next door. So I'm saying, so do you want?
I think he means further than walking across the street.
But
to eat
that's what
lunch.
I want to say. Do you want us to at least walk a mile? I mean, you got to say something because they're going to go to the closest place. So what you want us to do? Tell us what to do.
At all of the walk locations, there's an established walk route. So
Okay.
if you join up with the walkers tomorrow, you will be on an established walk route. The overall objective of Walk at Lunch Day is to bring recognition and encourage people to get at least 30 minutes of moderate exercise every day.
Okay. So from Government Plaza, where would I find my walk group?
It's going to be out front, and it's.
I'm in.
People are going to gather at 11:15.
Okay.
And the city and the county are going to walk together to Bienville Square and meet up with the walkers at that location.
I'm in. Okay.
Good.
Everybody
See you tomorrow.
Wear your
Okay.
walking shoes. Mary, will y'all introduce everybody while you're here?
My name is Lindsay Zogby, and I work here with the city, work for Paul Wesh, and I'm helping Sheila Campbell coordinate the city's participation with National Walk at Lunch Day.
Okay, so wait a minute. Now we have another Linda Zogby that sings.
I'm Lindsay. That's
Lindsay.
That's Linda. She's the
Linda.
aunt.
I thought you said
No,
Linda.
no, I don't-
Okay,
I
I
don't
was
sing.
going to say.
I don't
all
sing.
right.
No, you will not hear that.
Hi, good morning. I'm Margaret McCullough. I work with the Mobile County Health Department. I'm a dietitian, and I'm helping coordinate our location as a walk group. We're going to do our walk all the way around the block of our whole campus. So we're pumped up about it.
Are you going to make sure we eat right?
Oh, yeah, every day.
Okay.
We have two others at the health department. This is Heather.
Hi, I'm Heather Goff. I'm a dietetic intern with the health department.
Okay.
And I'm Clarice Feibelman. I'm also a dietitian working with Margaret at the Health Department.
Okay.
And y'all know Mary Mullins.
Yes.
We're going to do a group shot before let you all take a seat. So, tall guys in back.
Yeah, it's pretty late.
Yeah. Hold the proclamation up. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. We look forward to
Thank you
seeing
very
everybody
much.
walking.
Herb Wagner.
Good morning, Herb Wagner, 732 Jemison Street, Mobile, Alabama, 36606. Sort of ran out of time last week, and I was going to continue a little bit on that citizens were very disappointed in the lack of transparency that the ordinance that was eventually passed had between the Planning Commission and the City Council, that this was being written obviously by the lobbyist group, Keep Mobile Growing, then brought to each individual council person so as to avoid the sunshine laws, and then presented to first time publicly at the city council meeting. Luckily, we were able to get some reports of it right before so we could prepare comments. And I think all of you should remember that 100% of the people, speaking for the people of downtown Mobile and for environmental organizations, were especially upset with this grandfathering clause. That despite 3 hours of public input, that exact ordinance was then presented the next week for a vote. Not one comma changed. And even after the entire meeting collapsed because of that clause, I thought for sure we'd have another week, but I, again, underestimate the oil lobby and its ability to move quickly. At least that is how I see it, how it transpired. So, unfortunately, when friends and strangers and conservatives and liberals tell me that I'm wasting my time, that there's no point in coming down here, that what moves the city council is money, I no longer can really rebut them. I don't have, in the last 4 votes on downtown, keeping downtown clean, industry has won each time. Each time I've noticed questions from the city council to industry while we sit quietly, unable to respond to those very questions when we have pertinent information. But never, not once do I recall any of you asking a citizen a question about the information, studies. I mean, regardless of the American Lung Association and the Center for Disease Control, that Dr. Waterlecki being here, Dr. Eichhold, not one question was ever asked. But everything we presented was true. And I like that. We reap what we sow. So what you did sow was cynicism. And certainly in me, I've taken one more great step towards that lack of belief in democracy and recognition that when money talks, our politicians listen. You also sowed pollution, and you know that what you voted for will cause asthma, increased cases of asthma in children. It will cause increased COPD in adults. It will cause birth defects and premature birth. It will cause behavioral modifications. It will cause antisocial behavior. It'll cause cancer, and it's going to cause cancer of life. Loss of life. These things go, I mean, they're just established fact at this point. And of course, April 20th was we don't call it the anniversary of the BP oil spill. Interesting day between, of the things that did happen, but I see I have 1 minute. So I won't so much go to that as on the 20th, we did have our national event in Codin, and I was speaking with Lori Bosarge, who runs the Center for, the Coastal Response Center, and she, of course, was one of those people who were sprayed by Corexit because the planes did not stop spraying Corexit over the water. They continued spraying Corexit over houses. That's when they stopped, and that's when she was poisoned. And I told her, I said, you know, I'm down there, we've been talking, and that the things that you're voting for are the very things that have made her sick, and that I would say that. And she broke down in tears, gave me a hug. At that event, I saw a lot of fishers, the wives of fishers who also fish, talking about how they had to put their hand on their husbands at night to see that they were still alive because of the same types of toxins that we are voting to bring to downtown Mobile. So thank you very much. Have a good day. And thank you for your service. I'm behind you all the way. I like most of what's going on, but in this issue, I feel failed. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Mr. Wagner, thank you for coming down.
Madam President. Madam President, I would.
Mr. Williams?
Thank you. And I did just call it. Make this real brief. For everyone who's listening, after listening to that testimony, that we have solid proof of why we do not act on every bit of information that we hear. And I'm just going to call that one. I have never and will never take money, not a dime, not a single dime, and I think I speak for this entire council, from any of the parties that were represented in the issue in which has just been addressed. Where I came from, the words that were spoken today and the lack of truth in those words would have resulted in a conflict that would have been physical. But we as civil people here and people that care about this city are tolerant of information that is not true about us and about our body, that is, this governing body. Thank you, Madam President.
All right, Mr. Wagner, no, Mr. Wagner, no, you've already had your time, that's it.
To respond?
No, no, Mr. Wagner, you understand the rules, you come here enough, you've spoken, that's it.
Thank you very much.
All right, Mr. Manzi?
Well, I want to just, since some of the things that were said, the vast majority of them affect the area that I represent. And I just want to briefly say to the citizens who may have the opportunity to hear what was just said about the process that we went through. That was a nearly 2.5-year, very exhaustive process. And to frame it as if the ordinance that passed was industry's ordinance, I don't necessarily believe is an accurate way to frame it, in that in order for it to get on the agenda, a council member had to sponsor it being placed on the agenda. I don't disagree with many of the stances that Mr. Wagner has. There are many in my community that wanted to see us enact and adopt some standards that went far and beyond what we actually adopted. And if in and of myself we could have done that, if this were a dictatorship instead of a democracy, then everything that they espouse that we needed, we would have enacted. But this is not a dictatorship. This is democracy. There are 7 of us, and what we pass has to go through a political process. We have to reach 5 votes, which at the end of the day exemplifies a political consensus. You got to reach consensus. You got to get 5 people up here to agree to whatever it is that you want to see move forward. So the Cadillac that they had with all of the bells and whistles, that had all the protections that the environmental community wanted to see enacted, could not obtain the necessary 5 votes. So you essentially are left with 2 options. You can revert back to no protection that was in the ordinance prior to us adopting the quasi-moratorium, which allowed industry to come before the Planning Commission, get their approvals, and the only recourse the community had is to come to this council, obtain 5 votes, which would have been highly unlikely, and they would have had the ability to place all storage tanks wherever they wanted to. Now that was option A. Or you can get the protections that are inherent in what we passed, which is the 1,500 feet setback, increased notifications, making certain that these tanks can't be in close proximity to homes, churches, schools, protections that this community, particularly in Africatown and in the areas of downtown Mobile, have not enjoyed, not just for the last 2.5 years, but since the tanks have been in existence, well over 100 years. That was option B. So considering the political trades that had to be made, we can either go back to what we had, which was essentially nothing, or accept better protection now, analyze that, and then if we see what we need to make incremental changes to it down the road, we'll have the ability to do so. So I had a community meeting in Africatown last Thursday, and the citizens applauded our efforts because they realized, absent us adopting what was not the best ordinance, but is better than what we had, they would not have had protections, period. None. So it's easy for individuals who are not sitting in this seat, who don't have to analyze the data that we have to analyze, who have to respond to the emails that we have to respond to and have to absorb the pressures that we have to absorb. It's easy to sign in week after week for your 5 minutes to criticize what we've studied for 2.5 years. It's easy to do that. And I'm not knocking anybody who takes that posture. But it's a political process. It's a political process from point A to point Z. It takes 5 votes for anything to pass affirmatively, and I'm proud of the protections that we obtain for the citizens of Africatown, citizens of Plateau, and the citizens of downtown Mobile. And I would put this up in the protections that we've enacted for them to enjoy against any other piece of legislation that we worked on. Is it perfect? No. I don't know nothing in Montgomery, Washington, D.C. is perfect. But it's better than what we had, and it sets the stage for us to make incremental improvements as we need to. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Mr. Richardson, you
Yes,
have
thank you,
something to add?
Madam President. As a result of this council passing an ordinance to control the proliferation of above-ground oil storage tanks, a lawsuit has been filed against every council member as a result of us passing that ordinance.
No. Has nothing to do.
You're
There's
talking
no
about two
lawsuit
different things.
with that.
Yeah, 2 different things.
That's the coal
that true?
terminal.
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah, you're
Yeah,
thinking
it's a
about.
coal terminal.
Oh, that's cold, that's cold, Chairman. But I would say that I heard the testimony here a few moments ago that this council has voted has passed ordinances that permitted these firms to pollute our environment, that are causing health problems to our citizens as a result of our own action. When we received our charter to operate as a city from the state, we were not given public health. There is a Mobile County Health Department. There is not a Mobile City Health Department. We have no authority over health-related issues. Those are state issues. And just because we meet every week here, and people can easily come down here and shout insults at us, I double dog dare them to go up and shout at the state who gave those companies permission to pollute the air. Every one of them that whoever it is claiming that they're polluting, they got permission to emit whatever they are emitting from the state of Alabama. We have no authority to stop them. If the state said let it go out the smokestack, we can't close the smokestack down. If the state said let it run into our tributaries, we have no authority to stop it from going in there. In fact, it's been told to us by the health department that the fish in 3 Mile Creek is unfit to eat because some company is polluting the water. We can't stop them because whoever is emitting the substance in the water got permission from the state of Alabama. But we take the hit because we convene our meetings every week. We're on television, and people can sensationalize what they are saying by coming down here and try to trick the public into believing that the council is doing something wrong down here. We're passing laws giving companies the right to emit these substances in the air that are eventually going to kill them when we have no authority over that. The only reason we got involved in the tank business because they got their permission from the state too. They have to build the tank, and they have to get permission from us. They have to get a building permit. They have to come and see us before they can build it. And so what we said, if you're going to build it, we want to know what's in it. We want to tell you how far it's going to be from the citizens. That's how we got in on that. Other than that, we wouldn't have been able to get in on that because most of that stuff come in here on the railroad. We have no authority over the railroad. If it's just a railroad, we can't stop a railroad, we can't stop a train, we don't have no authority over it. So based on the authority we have to deal with these issues, we have done the very best that we can. And there are those who won't be satisfied until we close down every oil storage tank. And I tell you what, you follow those same people out this door and they're gonna get in their car that they all up, they gassed up today with the same oil that's in the tank, and they're gonna drive home. They don't want the oil to be stored in the tank, but they want it in the gas. You let them put a sign up that there is no more gasoline available, and they will come down here and start a riot. I'm saying we all got to exist. We got to have oil, but they got to store that oil in a place where it won't harm our citizens. It's like smoking. We can have people smoke, but you don't have no right to get in the non-smoker's face. Carry your smoke somewhere else, and that's what they got to do with gas. Take it away from our citizens so our citizens can be safe. We have done the best we can to assure our citizens that they will be safe.
All right. Anyone else, since
Yes,
we are here? Mr. Small?
Madam President, I had been criticized about the vote that I had taken a couple weeks ago, but when I explained to the constituents that had contacted me that criticized the vote that I took, and I explained to them why, then they understand and start criticizing the vote. Don't mind being criticized at all, but just being falsified, I do mind somehow just outright just falsify information on me. I'm not down here to collect no money from no big businesses or any other people at all. The money that we make here on council, I give that back to the community. Between the Boys and Girls Club, I help offer DIP to the Christmas parade, the Easter egg hunt, the back to school drive. That money mostly coming out of my pocket. So for me talking about, or for someone to say that I'm down here because of big companies and big money, that just falsified information. It's a sacrifice for me personally to be down here. Why do I want to be down here? To give back service, not to make no money. If I can't give the service back to the citizens of District 3, it's time for me to get up off this seat and just leave. And I can say that with me being on this seat almost 4 years, I have accomplished a lot of services throughout District 3. And we have on the agenda item today, Ann Street. That was one of the first things that was on my priority list to complete while I'm on this seat. But to say that I'm down here about for some money, no, sir. If anything, I'm losing. It's a sacrifice for me to be down here and have a business, you know, and I really don't appreciate that at all. But again, when I can't give the service back to the citizens of District 3, I promise you I will leave this seat and go back to my regular life. Thank you, Madam President.
All right. Thank you. Anyone else? You know, I will just close this particular discussion by saying that we don't want any questions or allegations that we hear to diminish the hard work of the citizens and environmental advocates and members of the business community who worked so hard for more than 2 years on this particular issue. And remember, it was started by this council. 2 members of this council brought this issue to us and began the process. And the fact that the final ordinance that passed this body didn't include, or did include, rather, the vast majority of the recommendations made by first that ad hoc committee, the advisory committee, and it also included specific provisions advocated by Baykeeper and focused on addressing concerns in particular of those residential neighborhoods, which again was one of the reasons Mr. Richardson and Mr. Manzi started this process to begin with. So not acknowledging that, I believe, really does a disservice not just to this body, but to the work of those advocates who have worked so hard to bring this to fruition. So unless there's something else to say about this issue, we will move on with the rest of our presentations to the council.
Eric Williams.
Good morning, council.
Good morning.
Thank you for allowing me some of your time this morning. I have a simple but complex issue with getting a building permit. Oh, I'm sorry, Eric Williams is my name, I'm sorry. And my wife, Monique Williams, is here with me also. The address and issue and concern is 2409 East Road, where we're trying to get the building permit at. We've already submitted all of the plans, and the issue we're having now is with zoning, which is in John Williams District. We're trying to get a credit for historical credit. We had surveying done by Poly Surveying. We own 2 lots there, which is Lot 20 and south half of Lot 18. With the size of the house, which is total living is 4,300, but under roof is only 32. They're saying that we had to do a land disturbance permit. We've done all that, submitted all the information by Poly Surveying. Now that they're saying they needed a deed back prior to 1951, we submitted all of that, and we're still having a holdup with getting this building permit. Now they're saying that we have to do a subdivision, which would set us back 90 days prior to where we supposed to have been started a month ago. And, you know, we're trying to hurry up and get this house built because we have a child on the way. So, and we, you know, we selected this subdivision because we know it's a great subdivision, be a great community to raise our children. Our only concern is just getting this building permit. We submitted everything. We've complied with everything that the city has asked for. There was some new things put in place for energy reasons. We complied with all of that. We submitted all of the plans. And our thing is we just want to get a building permit. So they won't allow us to build on our lot because they're saying they can't find a deed prior to 1951 that states how it is stated. When we purchased it, it was owned by Mr. Burgess, who we purchased it from. And we just want to build on Lot 20. And the way that it's recorded, we own Lot 20 and 18, but we can build on Lot 20, but 18 is just going to be our backyard. So the construction of the house, all the dirt that would be moved would be only on Lot 20. And we're not understanding why we having to do a subdivision to start a building process.
Okay. Mr. Williams, we talked about this a bit in our pre-conference meeting, and Mr. Hoffman, who is with Urban Planning, I think can answer some of your questions for you and hopefully make this process a little easier for you as you go forward. So, Bert, if you don't mind.
Good morning. Bert Hoffman, Planning and Zoning. The issue is not a zoning issue, but is a subdivision regulation issue. And the subdivision regulations are the purview of the Planning Commission and not of the City Council based on the state powers granted. The issue that we have with the property that you have purchased is that while you have a legal lot in your description, Lot 20 and the south half of Lot 18, when the property owners, the original purchaser of the property back in 1953, they had purchased Lot 20 and the south half of Lot 18 and the south half of Lot 17. In 1969, they sold off the south half of Lot 17, and they continued to live on the property. Then when the property owner died, a new deed was written without any title research that created the legal description which you have now on the deed that you have. The subdivision regulations, which were adopted in 1952, apply to this property. And since I've been working for the city for 10 years, we've always required that if you do not have a legal lot of record created through these subdivision regulations, you have to go through that process. Now, what we can do to help you, you already have an engineer and survey firm on board. If you make the application for the subdivision to create one legal lot of the entire property, we can go ahead and sign off on your building permits to allow you to start construction, but we will hold off on signing off on a final certificate of occupancy until that subdivision process is complete. So it'll take you several months to build your house. You should be able to complete the subdivision process much sooner than that. So we can work with you that way.
Does that help? Great. Thanks, Bert. Appreciate it.
Tim Wills.
I love it when it works out like that.
Good afternoon. I'm Tim Wills.
Is it afternoon already?
Oh, yeah, morning, afternoon. In the middle.
Feels like.
I am the new Chief Executive Officer for Boys and Girls Clubs of South Alabama. I have moved here from Baltimore. I am originally from St. Louis. I have worked for Boys and Girls Clubs over the last 13 years, most recently as CEO for a Boys and Girls Club organization in the Baltimore area. I am excited to be here in Mobile. It's going to be a great experience, and I think one of the most important things is that you can a community can say a lot about itself by its investment in its most vulnerable folks. And for us, it's young people. And so I want to thank the council and the city for your ongoing support of Boys and Girls Clubs over the years. You know, over 50 years ago, Boys and Girls Clubs started in this community, and we have a great foundation on us. But there's thousands more kids in many more communities we can serve, both in Mobile City and Mobile County. And over my tenure as CEO, we will be more innovative, more creative, and more thankful to the folks and the individuals in the community who have supported us as we support the futures of the kids here in this community. You know, every single child that lives here deserves a pathway to a great future. That's our message. We want them to have all the hopes and dreams that are possible to them, right? And, you know, this generation of young people is on the verge of receiving a country that's in worse shape than their parents received. And as a community, we can do better. We have to do better because for us, the greatest investment we can make is in our kids, and the more we invest in them, not just monetarily, but people's time and commitment, makes us a better community. And so you're going to hear a lot more about Boys and Girls Clubs. If you haven't heard about us yet, we will be forefront. We will advocate for kids in every part of this community because they matter, and it matters for our community. So I look forward to working with each of you as we chart a new pathway for Boys and Girls Clubs and build on our past so that young people have an incredible future ahead of them. So thank you all very much.
All right. Thank you so much, and welcome to Mobile.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Madam President.
Yes, sir.
I would like to say that we do welcome the new executive to the Mobile area. And I'd also like to say that I'd like to also thank the council for helping the South DIP area to have a summer Boys and Girls Club at the Gilliard Elementary School, which was started in June. The kids down in the South DIP do not have a recreation center nor a place to go at in the summertime. Many times that we have crime go up in our neighborhood because kids are out of school, do not have a place to go and have fun, so they don't have no choice but to break in and throw rocks at windows and find trouble. So many times, especially in my neighborhood, you know, I have kids that come by and say, "Mr. Small, I'm hungry," you know, and I want something to eat, and I had to go in my pocket or, you know, or either go down to the street and get them something to eat. Well, I thank the Boys and Girls Club for coming out to the South DIP area and try to have a program where the kids are learning their more math skills and reading skills. The principal can vouch how the reading skills and the math skills at Gilliard Elementary School have went up because of the Boys and Girls program. And also the kids are also learning how to eat healthy also at Gilliard during the summertime. I think this is going to be our third year that we had the summer program at the Gilliard Elementary School on South DIP. And again, I applaud this council for helping me to have some type of activity for the kids on South DIP, because we have a lot of kids down there from Pillins to Gilliard to BC Rain, and they don't have anything down there. But with the help of the Boys and Girls Club and Gilliard Elementary School and this council, I can say that 2016 we will have something for the kids on South DIP. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Small.
Rosalind Malone. I think Ms. Lula Jones is also signed up regarding this.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Rosalind Fairgood Malone. I'm here concerning
Ms.
the
Malone,
sale.
can you give us your address, please?
Okay.
And the other lady is
My bad.
coming down too to join you. Come on down, ma'am.
1801 Holt Road, apartment 203, and that's 36617.
Okay.
This is Miss Lula Jones.
And I think you're both here to speak about the same topic.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
I'm Lula Scott Jones, and we're here to speak about Thomas Sullivan Center.
Okay, and what's your address, please, ma'am?
My address is 1504 Hogan Street, Mobile, Alabama 36603, across from the center.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay.
We are here today to make a plea to the council. Thomas Sullivan Center has a senior organization, which is under the SEL program, which we had no idea that this program was being cut from the budget. We got to the center Monday, and some people were waiting on the van to pick them up, and no van picked them up. Got to wait to the center, no food. We were not informed. I'm making a plea that this program be reinstated at this Thomas Sullivan Center. This is a very, very good center, and I was born and raised right around the corner from it. And I raised my children in that community. We do different things. Our organization does. We go on trips. We play games. We have balls. We do a lot of different things. We even intermingle with the kids during the summer sometimes. And that one meal a day could be someone's only meal. I know it's my only balanced meal. We need this program, and if you can find it in your hearts to work with us, because this problem started back in November. They've been aware of this since November, that they were not qualified staff. We need your help, Ms. Jones.
I got introduced to the center in 2002. My mother had a stroke. She lived across the street. And they came over. She had a stroke. She couldn't talk. I couldn't put her in a nursing home. They brought dinners to my home for her. And that's when I learned about the center. It was like a beacon of hope it's like a beacon of hope in our community. And we need it. I'm a senior citizen now myself. And I walk across that street because I get nourishment. They feed us spiritually, physically. We have Bible study. We play games. I'm learning to make a quilt. And we play games and things. But the food is important to all of us. But it's just a beacon of hope, and I would like to see it stay there. It's been there a long time. It is very needful for us to have it in our community. Because, like you say, a lot of people depend on it. Yeah. You know, we vote. I vote every time I come around. And I just think it ought to count for something. It's been there a long time. And I hate to see it diminished. And I think what have happened is that it may be some misunderstanding. You see, somebody was probably checking. The center opened at 9 o'clock. Okay, they had this young lady. She'd come in at 9 o'clock. She had to do 3 jobs when she only had to do 1. She had to pick up the people, come back and prepare the food for the ones that are homebound, and then take the other people back home and be back off the job at 1 o'clock. She couldn't do all of that. That was a job for 3 people, and she was trying to do all of that. So we need more people there, and we would just love very much. I pray that y'all reconsider this about doing this. You know, it's needful. We need a beacon of hope in our community. Amen. Yes. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies, for coming down. Mr. We'll let you all go on back to your seats, and I think Mr. Manzi and maybe Mr. Cooper have some information for you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate everything.
Who wants to go first?
Ma'am, I can give an update from the administration's point of view, and watch how quickly your prayers are answered. And I will say it's because of the partnership with your council member, Levon Manzi. He and I spoke last night. It is embarrassing to admit to you that the city's SAIL program has failed, but it is a pleasure to share with you that it is being fixed. In terms of the Thomas Sullivan Center, there will be lunch served today, and I'm working with Councilman Manzi. We will reconstitute that program going forward. We have to hire the staff, we have to certify the individuals, and as long as there is a constituency there, and constituency is one person or greater that needs the service of the city, we will provide that. And so any disruption to your expectations or your daily schedule, I apologize on behalf of the administration. Like I said, it is broken. We are going to fix it, and we're going to do so in partnership with your council member, who I know cares as equally as much as we do about the convenience that we can provide to our citizens who deserve that.
We thank you.
Thank you.
And I just want to thank the ladies that have traveled here today, Ms. Malone and Ms. Jones, and the other two ladies there from the community that have come, that have shown such passion and advocacy for this program. I'm happy that we found an amicable path forward that will make certain that your program will continue. And I just challenge you all to get the word out, make certain that the seniors are aware of this amenity and that they avail themselves of it. And it shows that by your passion and advocacy, that, change can happen. And I'm appreciative of the administration for working with us so expeditiously to make certain that this program continues. Thank you all for taking time out of your day to come out.
Thank you.
All right.
Mr. Richardson?
Madam President, I'm going to make a request of Mr. Cooper that he takes a look at the sale program at the Trixie Senior Center in Trinity Gardens and at Dumas Wesley Center in Crichton to make sure that they are staffed properly. I would not like for any senior to show up to that center for a meal and the center is closed. I wouldn't like for any senior to be homebound and they are waiting on Meals on Wheels to deliver probably the only meal they'll have that day, and the meal not get there. When it comes to our seniors and our children, it is our utmost responsibility to make sure we see about them. And so I would like for you to take a look at what's happening in District 1. I have 2 programs to make sure that the staffing is what it ought to be so that program can continue.
Yes, sir, and I should, for all of your colleagues, every sale program in the city of Mobile is under scrutiny right now to make sure that we can deliver the results you just articulated.
Okay.
All right, very good. Thank you very much, and thank you, ladies, for coming. Thank you.
Ordinance is held over 60, if there's no objection, I'll take the 2 together.
Okay, that's fine.
64019 and 64020, rezoning property at 351 and 401 Western Drive and 3216 and 3224 Moffett Road from B1 to B3 and I1, and rezoning property at 3500 3520 Government Boulevard from I1 and B3 to B3.
So moved.
Second, discussion.
No discussion.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Resolution is held over. 23262, authorize the purchase and sale agreement with Spring Hill and Davenport for undeveloped real property at the intersection of Davenport Avenue and Hayes Avenue.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mrs. Rich?
Thank you. I appreciated the council working with my office to hold this up a week so that we could get more transparency on the ownership and the city's momentum on selecting that site. You all received, and there's a legal firm in Daphne is their location, and they develop property. Those are the 2 principals that have been identified. The lawyer, their attorney, spoke with our city council attorney, and the names were then given. Philosophically, there's a difference when I look at the placement of a fire station in this community. So as not to be perceived as anyone opposing a fire station, I certainly understand that the Gus Rim is in terrible shape and needs repaired or demolished, and our public safety firefighters, paramedics need to be in excellent locations and excellent facilities. So I applaud the efforts of the administration of making that a priority at this particular station. There are many others that also fit the bill for demolition and/or complete repairs. And I hope that we see a lot of momentum in the future. The $190,000 for this piece of property, in my opinion, is way more than the property is worth. Although the appraisal, which I just saw 2 seconds before council to see the other comparables, did not compare property near this location, but the thought is that you look at properties all over to get like, anyway, the 190 just is a lot of money for 2 acres in the rear of this property sitting on 2 residential streets. I think that's a substandard location for a fire station, that one that is busy and needed in the community. The school board property, which is what this lot was part of, was a wonderful opportunity, and here's the philosophical difference of why I feel lots of better things could have responded, and that is our map of Mobile, to help that community get a resource besides the fire station, a park, a community center, and to anchor, and that is something where the city of Mobile could have been a huge player. And I feel like this is an opportunity missed. We brought our whole community together for an entire year to talk about the map of Mobile, walkability, community services, and I think at one point that might have been an option or a thought with the administration. And to see it back up to a commercial rezoning in a completely residential area, again, I just regret that happened. And again, I just can't support these efforts with your public dollars. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Richardson?
Madam President, this item is in District 1. We're talking about the property where the old Crichton School used to be. We had a fire station at Western and Moffett Road, Gus Rim Fire Station. That fire station had asbestos in it. It had caused our firemen to be sick. We're having to tear that station down. We've already relocated the firefighters who worked in that station. So about a year ago, Mayor Stimson approached me about finding another place to build a fire station. And he mentioned the location there at the old Crichton School. We were trying to find a location where the station would serve Trinity Gardens, Tobinville, Crichton, Midtown, and part of Moffett Road. So we think the station will be able to do that at that location. I'm not that concerned about the location of the fire station. I have concerns about the amount of money we are paying for the property, but it's water under the bridge. We've already voted. I'm not gonna fight this one because the change in zoning we already voted for a change in zoning. So that has been done. I told Mayor Stimson a year ago, and I reminded him of that yesterday, that when we build the fire station, I would like to have a meeting room in there. We don't have a school, we don't have a public building in Crichton. So when our CAG groups, when we get ready to meet, there's no place for us to meet. For instance, on May 9th, the Crichton CAG group will be meeting at USA Medical Center. That's in Tobinville. So we have just about worn out our welcome at the various churches. We're building a public building. It's no reason for us not to put in that building a meeting room where we can have our special, a small meeting like CAG groups. I see no reason for us not to do that. The last 2 fire stations we built in West Mobile we put meeting rooms at those fire stations. And it would be troublesome to me for us to finally build a new station, because we have built about 4 new stations in West Mobile, to finally build a new station east of I-65 and to tell the residents, I can't put no meeting room up there for y'all, although we did put the meeting rooms in for the rest of the citizens. That is unacceptable from my point of view. So I have made my appeal to Mayor Stimson to please get with the architect, the group that is drawing a design for this building, and have them to add a meeting room to this fire station. We talked a moment yesterday with the mayor and I, with the mayor of Gulf Shores. They just built a pristine new fire station at Gulf Shores. And Mayor Stimson asked the mayor, do you have a meeting room in your fire station? The mayor said, yes, we have a meeting room at that fire station. And I am advocating for a meeting. I'm voting for this, but it's going to be back before us at some other time, because we got to put the money in there to build a fire station. I would like, and I'm saying it now, so nobody will be surprised, I want a meeting room in the new fire station. Thank you, Madam President.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Opposed.
Okay, one opposition.
21289, authorized contract with John G. Walton Construction Company for Ann Street Drainage Rehabilitation Phase 2.
So move.
Second. Discussion?
Yes, Madam President.
Mr. Small?
I don't know to say, is it Christmas in December or is it Christmas in July? It might be Christmas in April for the citizens in District 3, especially in the Oakdale community. When I first took council, was appointed to council back in 2012, I said that one of my goals was to start the work on Ann Street. When I first took council, right in front of Craighead Elementary School was a hole that had been there for years, about 9 to 12 feet deep, right in front of a elementary school where hundreds of kids attend. Back in 2013, with the help of Pay As You Go, Messiah Lovegood, and Community Block Grant, and with some help with the city of Mobile, we was able to do the first phase of Ann Street between Douglas Street and Tennessee Street. Well, that was completed on last summer. With the help of this council, by overturning the mayor veto with the 1 cent sales tax, we are able now to do the second phase of Ann Street. One of my colleagues had said on last week that he was still getting some feedback from his constituents about voting for the 1 cent sales tax to stand it for another 3 years. And I want to tell my colleague to tell his constituents to drive down Ann Street between Douglas Street and Arlington Street today or this week. You got up to July. Just ride down there, then come back in July of 2017 and ride again and ask them, do you see your 1 cent sales tax? This has been a long gone project that's been for years, older than I am. I have heard people say that Ann Street ain't been paid in 50 years. One reason it has not been paid is because of the old engineer designs. We could not just put asphalt on top of that. It had to go back in. We had to go back in and redesign the whole street with curvage, drainage, and et cetera. And this process is going to take probably a little bit over a year. We're probably looking to start of July this year and complete late summer of next year. But I'm very excited about this project. We know that this project had been on the news for the last couple of weeks, and I have been getting several phone calls stating, Councilman Small, well, you're looking at Ann Street, what about, Baltimore Street? Well, I am glad to say that we are now in the engineering stages of trying to get like a blueprint plans for Baltimore Street. So hopefully that one day soon that we'll be able to start on Baltimore Street. Baltimore Street is one of the worst streets in Mobile, Alabama, besides Ann Street. If you ride up and down Baltimore Street, you don't have to worry about speeding. Matter of fact, I never seen a cop put radar on Baltimore Street because of the self-staying natural speed bumps that is located on Baltimore Street. You got to ditch and dodge holes actually on Baltimore Street to even go up and down it. But with the help of this council, with the help of the administration, we hopefully that soon that we'll be able to tackle Baltimore Street, but we can ride smoothly like in front of Craighead Elementary School. This project costing us, the city, $3.4 million. And again, it wasn't for the 1 cent sales tax. This would not be happening on today. Again, yesterday was a great day for the citizens of Mobile. Today is another great day for the citizens of Mobile. And I vow to the citizens of District 3 that in the next 2 years, I will continue to spread the extra 1 cent sales tax throughout the district and also spend it very wisely. Again, I appreciate this council so much for all the hard work that you have done to make sure that we can get this 1 cent on docket for we can spend it within our district. I'd like to also thank the engineer, Mr. Nick. I've been on his case for the last almost 4 years about Ann Street. The next couple of years, I'm gonna be on your case again, when we're gonna complete, Ann Street and start on Baltimore Street. And again, I also like to thank the citizens of District 3, especially the Oakdale community, for pushing me and keep on reminding me about Ann Street. And I promise you that I have not forgot about Baltimore Street and other streets that throughout the district of District 3. Again, thank you, thank you, thank you.
All righty. Thank you, Mr. Small. Anyone else?
Yes, Madam President.
Mr. Manzi?
I just want to briefly remark that I am proud that we're continuing in phases down Ann Street, realizing that when you cross Virginia, you enter into District 2, and we've heard from a great number of citizens concerned about when and the timeline and things of that nature. And so I want to personally invite and publicly invite Mr. Amberger to attend with me the community meeting for that area on May the 5th at 6 o'clock at the Dolphin Way United Methodist Church. It is not that Ann Street is not a priority, but these are expensive projects that you have to look at from a holistic perspective. You can't just lay asphalt on it. We've already started in the District 3 side, and we're working our way on down as we finish each section and as we locate the funds to continue to move forward in these phases. And so I want to make the commitment to citizens in District 2 that we will work to try to get our end of it done as quickly as possible. It has to be done in phases and as we locate the funds. And I want to thank you, for your advocacy, your continued reminders to my office that Ann Street is an issue via email, via letter, via Facebook, Twitter, and any other means known to man. That Ann Street on our side is an issue. We're working as quickly as we can. And I think, Mr. Amberger, we have the design. We just need to locate the finances. And I'm hopeful with some positive discussions with our county commissioner, Mr. Ludgood, that we'll be able to identify those. So thank you, A, for your advocacy, but B, for your patience, because I know that it is not the most pleasant ride to have in our city. But Ann Street isn't the only one. We've got Texas Street, once you leave Broad Street, that is in deplorable condition. And you're going to find that a lot of the roadways in our areas are in this shape because we have some of the oldest and most antiquated roadways in the city. And it's going to take time. It's going to take money. And I thank you for your patience. And I'm proud to see that we're moving forward with the second phase in District 3.
Thank you, Mr. Mance. Anyone else? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
There's no objection, I'll take the next two together. 01283 and 01284, authorize a project agreement with Hutchinson Aerospace and the Mobile Airport Authority for incentive and development costs for infrastructure of the project site at Mobile Aeroplex, and authorize a project agreement with VT Mobile Aerospace Engineering, Mobile County, and the Mobile Airport Authority for roof repairs to Building 17 at the Mobile Aeroplex at Brooklyn.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Chair abstains.
21285, authorized contract with Melvin Pierce Painting for City of Mobile, Alabama Cruise Terminal Improvement Painting.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
21287, authorized contract with GSI Services to furnish and install security card readers, police departments, various locations.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
21288, authorized contract with United Site Services of Mississippi to provide and service portable toilets at various City of Mobile locations.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Yes, Madam President.
Mr. Small?
I would like to thank the administration for the help putting the portable toilets out at McNally Park. I asked the administration last year about doing that, and they did so. With the help of them, we was able to get some signage through ALDOT. One of the requirement was that the park had to have a restroom. So with the help of the administration, we was able to get and seek some help with ALDOT about signage. And I encourage the citizens, also citizens of Mobile and District 3, to come out to McNally Park to see how beautiful that park is. It's one of the most beautiful parks that we have in the city of Mobile, which is located off of DIP. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
21290, authorized contract with Simplex Grinnell for the fire sprinkler inspection and testing various City of Mobile facilities.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I will take the next four together. 21292, 293, 294, and 295 are authorizing contracts with Complete Management Group for right-of-way mowing on Cottage Hill and Hillcrest Roads for all phase properties, right-of-way mowing on Airport Boulevard, Dolphin Street, Michigan Avenue, Canal, Water Street, Claiborne Street, Beauregard, Lawrence Street, Broad Street, South Claiborne Streets. 21294, authorizing contracts with Secor Enterprises for right-of-way mowing on University Boulevard and Demetropolis Road. 21295, authorized contract with Chempro Services for herbicide spraying of Batesville landfill and drainage channels.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion on these?
Yes, I just have a
Mrs.
question
Rich?
for the administration. I noticed on the Hillcrest Road, or Cottage Hill, actually, it only goes from I-65 to Hillcrest, yet our city limits go all the way out to Solly. So I was wondering why that portion of Cottage Hill was left off.
Councilwoman, we'll get you an answer to that.
Thank you, appreciate it.
All right. Anybody else? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
31268, authorize the mayor to apply, accept, and receive agreement of understanding with the Department of Justice.
Move to table.
Oh, second.
All right. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
31269, authorize the mayor to apply for the 2016 Tiger Grant.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
37291, approve the application of Yvette Clifton, doing business as Clifton Transportation, for a certificate of public convenience and necessity for a shuttle service.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Ordinance is being introduced for the first time, 64021.
By Council Rules 64021 will lay over for 1 week.
All right.
Consent resolutions being introduced for the first time, 03297 through 03307.
Motion for the suspension of the rules for immediate consideration of resolution 03297 through 03307.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I'll take these three together.
Okay.
03297, appoint Barbara Horry to the Medical Clinic Board of the City of Mobile. 03306, reappoint Randall Gould to the Lad Peoples Memorial Stadium Park, Public Park and Recreation Board. 03307, appoint Leslie Gula to the Citizens Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Resolutions being introduced for the first time, 21298 through 21308.
By council rules, resolution 21298 through 21308 would lay over for 1 week.
All right.
Call for public hearing scheduled May 24th. 41302, call for public hearing to consider amendments and adoption of the 2012 International Property Maintenance Code, Chapter 28, Article 4 of the Mobile City Code. 41303, call for public hearing to rezone property at 300 North Water Street and 305 Delshamps Drive, southeast corner of Adams Street and North Water Street, extending to the northwest corner of Congress Street and Delshamps Drive from I-1 to B-4. 41304, call for public hearing to amend Chapter 64 of the Mobile City Code to eliminate conflict between the off-street parking requirements and downtown development district code and describe exempted areas. And 41305, call for public hearing to amend Chapter 64-3-I of the City of Mobile Code Downtown Development District.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Announcements.
Mr. Williams?
No, thank you.
Mr. Small?
I would just like to thank all the citizens in the Gulfdale area. On last Thursday, we had a community action meeting, and it was a great attendance. I'd like to thank Bill Hawkins for coming out and talking about the litterer. Also, on this evening, Maysville Community Action Group will be having their Community Action Group meeting at the Revelation Baptist Church starting at 6 o'clock p.m., inviting all the citizens in Maysville to come out on this evening at 6 o'clock p.m. at Revelation for the Community Action Group meeting. And next Tuesday, I will be announcing the Yard of the Month for the month of May. Again, just remember, also, yesterday was a great day in District 3. The first delivery of the plane, Madam President had talked about the first plane built in the United States in Mobile, Alabama, but she forgot to say that it was built in District 3. So I wanted to correct her earlier, but I'm correcting her now.
Went without saying. Mr.
But it was
Small.
located, in District 3. But again, we had it was very great. Yesterday was a great day for not only District 3, not only for Mobile, not only for the state of Alabama, but for the United States of America. So we can say that that plane was built right here in the USA. And again, remember that District 3 is the place where things are happening. Thank you, Madam President.
All right, Mrs. Rich?
Thank you. I just would like to tell everyone that all Domino's restaurants tomorrow will be donating 20% of their proceeds to the police foundation, and this is the proceeds will then be given to the undercover a sergeant, I believe he is a sergeant with the Mobile Police Department, who's now at home, but it will still have medical issues and concerns. So the hours are 10 to 10, and so I urge everyone who gets a craving for a pizza to direct that to the Domino's this go around and participate in that great community event. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Richardson?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam President. I would just like to say to Councilman Small that as that new plane, Bluesmobile, it sort of fit in with our local Born to Celebrate. They named the first plane Bluesmobile. As it left District 3 gliding in the air, it did make a turn to go north, and it flew across District 1. Get that in. That it had to leave District 3 in order. and come across District 1 to make it the way it was trying to go. Anyway, the Public Service Committee will be meeting next Tuesday. That will be March 3rd in the council conference room. That meeting will start at 2 o'clock, and we will take a look at the status of all capital improvement projects. We know that a lot of projects was turned in. A lot of them will not be completed in 2016, would have to be carried over. We want to know the status of all of those projects, and we want to know what's the plan for 2017. How can we plan in 2017 to not only finish the projects that we did in 2016, but to also get the projects done for 2017. We want to know how that's going to be done. So we're going to ask all our council members, especially the committee members, join us at 2 o'clock next Tuesday in the council conference room. We had a great Beat 41 meeting at Forest Hill last Thursday. Commend all of the citizens in the Forest Hill area for coming down to the Forest Hill Elementary School for this meeting. We had lots of information regarding jobs and jobs training, and I would say that at all of my community meetings, I will have a component in there dealing with jobs and job training. Until our unemployment reached 4%, I'm not letting up. If the people don't go out and take advantage of those jobs, I would not take a hit for that. I'm going to bring the people inside the neighborhood, inside the community, with all sorts of good information on where the jobs are and what you need to do to get those jobs. That I had them at that community meeting. We went over the capital improvement projects, and I also had a person there from the city to tell them how they can contract. If you've got a small business, you want to contract with the city, what you need to do. I had somebody in the house to talk about that. The Crichton CAG Group will be meeting on May 9th at USA Medical Center, starting at 6 o'clock. And for all those citizens that's a member of the Crichton CAG Group, we will be meeting this time at USA Conference Room on Fittingham Street. This is big. On this coming Sunday at 3 o'clock, May 1st, the Youth Symphony Orchestra will be performing at the Mackenzie Dow Amphitheater in Trinity Gardens. For those who are trying to get there, take the Service Road to First Avenue. When you make a right, you're looking at a blinking light, that's Ruby Street. Go to the blinking light and make a right and head straight down to the amphitheater. You can't miss it. Drive right there, right there. So we're going to be there. I challenged the Mobile Symphony Orchestra to bring some of that culture inside the neighborhood. And so what they did, they went to these various high schools and they put together a youth symphony orchestra. And they have trained them. They are ready to perform, and they're going to bring them over to the amphitheater on Sunday at 3 o'clock, giving the church time enough to turn out. And they're going to put the show on the road. Let me share with you what my hopes for this is. A lot of the kids who may come out, they may not be inspired to play an instrument, or they may, based on looking at these young people play these various instruments, desire to play an instrument themselves. But if incoming, they are inspired to be the best they can be, they're inspired to conclude that yes, I can, at whatever I want to do. Yes, I can. Based on these kids with these complex instruments up there playing all of this good music, I believe it would inspire any kid to go further than they have gone before. So I'm asking the parents, bring the kids out and let them listen and let them see what these other kids are doing. We had a great cleanup program the past Saturday for the Crichton community, especially Mobile Street. That's our gateway to Crichton, Mobile Street. It has been transformed and is still being transformed. You just have to ride out there and see it. We don't intend for anyone to criticize that street about any kind of blight. So our citizens are on it. USA have joined us. We want that street to be mowed, trimmed, cut, no litter. We want it to be one of the most beautiful streets in the city of Mobile. Thank you, Madam President.
Joel?
Thank you, Madam President. There will be a meeting of the City Council Finance Committee today at 2:00 p.m. in the council's conference room on the 9th floor of this building. And this evening will be a District 5 community meeting at 6:00 p.m. at the Westminster Presbyterian Church, which is at the corner of Sage Avenue, the newly repaved Sage Avenue, and Airport Boulevard. We'll have Director of Public Safety, Admiral Landholt there. We'll have Director of Planning and Development, Ms. Irby there. And we'll also look at the District 5 capital improvement projects for this year. Ms. Irby will spend some time talking about how we go about selecting projects for inclusion in the capital improvement plan at 6:00 p.m., Westminster Presbyterian Church, Sage, and Airport. Thank you.
Airport was just resurfaced too, wasn't it? Okay, Mr. Manzi.
Yes, Madam President. I want to thank the citizens of the Plateau, Lewis Quarter, New Quarter, Kelly Hill, Magazine Point, and also Chin Street areas for coming out to our community meeting on last Thursday at the Green Grove Missionary Baptist Church. I met an aggregation of them on that Friday, and we walked, I believe, every block in the community that Friday afternoon. Broke in a brand new pair of shoes there. And I thank them for all of their patience, and we're working to try to remedy some of the concerns that have been brought to our attention. I want to thank all citizens who come to the series of community meetings that we've had, concluding with the one on May 5th at the Dolphin Way United Methodist Church, where we will discuss a variety of issues certainly important to the residents in that community. I want to highlight two individuals briefly as a part of my announcements. The first one, in recognition of Administrative Assistance Day on tomorrow, I will be out of town, but I could not function properly in this role were it not for the help that we have, the excellent help that we have in the person of Ms. Deidre Fairley, who really has become my right-hand lady. When I have community meetings, she knows to wear her tennis shoes because she's going to walk 50 miles. At least we have her all over the building taking care of the citizens' complaints and issues, and I am just appreciative to no end of her, to our city clerk, Ms. Lisa Lambert, to the other ladies that make up our city clerk staff for how they assist us in what is really a full-time, very difficult job at times. So I want to just publicly thank all of them, especially Ms. Fairley and Ms. Lambert and Ms. Merchant, and I hate to get to calling names. I just appreciate all of you for what you do. And then I want to highlight Ms. Danielle Juzane. That may not be a name that you're readily familiar with, but she's someone who over my tenure in public office the last 8 years has readily stayed in contact with me, not only with her complaints, but with her praise, not only with detractions, but the things she thought that we were doing positively. And just as late as Friday, Ms. Juzane emailed me concerning the dog park at Crawford Murphy Park. We've spent a lot of resources getting that park up to speed and beautifying it and making certain that citizens from all spectrums, economically, socially, can enjoy it. And she championed the creation of this dog park, one of the first dog parks east of 65. And then I got the news Saturday morning that she had passed. Emailed me Friday night, concerned about this dog park, and fell asleep in death relative to a heart attack on Saturday morning. And so I will be sponsoring officially an ordinance resolution, however it needs to go, that we would, once that dog park is completed, that we would officially memorialize and name that park in her honor. And we want to remember in our deepest prayers and sympathies her husband, her children, and a community that no doubt will miss her, will miss her vibrancy, and miss her contributions to the quality of life in our area. So again, I want to thank Ms. Fowler and all of our administrative assistants, and I want us to remember in our prayers the family of Ms. Danielle Juzang.
Thank you very much. All right. Anyone else? All right. With that, then, we are adjourned. Thank you.